Okay. Going live. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I believe we're live in the Mortgage Loan Officer Network with Mr. Matt Boyce, good friend out of Philly. I don't know if you're east side or west side, but we love you no matter where you're from. Say hello to the crowd.
I'm in South Jersey. Technically, it's South Jersey, but we're the New Jersey part that likes the Eagles and Phillies. If don't hold that against me.
Awesome. So we're super happy to have Matt on. Matt has come on some of the calls we've had in the past through Loan Officer Acceleration and Leads Academy, and Matt is just kicking ass the last couple years. I don't even want to get into his numbers; they're astronomical. But the thing we really like about Matt is he's been an open book to so many LOs in and around his office, people that you would say are maybe competitors or competition. And he's been very abundant-minded with what has led him to success. So we're just excited that he decided to come on today and share some of his success tips, strategies, team layout, etc., with all of you folks in the LO community. So thanks again, Matt. We love you, bud.
Yeah, hey, listen, so a lot of the strategies and the tech and everything, the process that I have, a lot of it I've implemented from you, TJ, from all the guys and all the Facebook communities and just local communities around me. I just like to take pieces of what other people are doing successfully, kind of put it into my own process, and then again, it's implementation. That's the real key.
Yeah, in fact, you said that right before the call. You said, hey, I'll tell these guys anything I'm doing. They can walk into my office and I'll show them exactly what I'm doing. But we both know that it takes a lot of steps to actually get to where you're at. So let's start breaking that down. You were at one point in the game an LO that was strong, but you really wanted to get to that next level. And I think on previous calls, you talked about how marketing was the key. So let's talk about some of the marketing steps that you did when you first made the big jump.
So okay, I was 15 years of doing this, and I started everywhere from AmeriQuest Mortgage and kind of made my way from that model to a broker in Philly, to banker and whatever, and moved on and moved up the ladder. So I was about a $20 million a year producer. I was working ungodly hours. I was single at the time with no kids or anything, so that was fine. But I was 60, 80 hours a week, processing a lot of my own loans. I was marketing myself, going to all the networking meetings, but then having to go back to the office and do all the paperwork. So it was at that point that I realized I needed to leverage myself, not only with manpower, but also with tech and a solid process. I actually, funny, right around that time, I met Marcus Lemonis, who runs that show, The Profit, and him and I had this really close before he blew up, and he explained, he's like, I like people, product, process. That's what makes a successful company or organization. So the people, I trusted my people. I had, at the time, knew I needed to bring on solid assistants. If you're a core guy, LP1, LP2, whatever you want to call them, I needed the product. Well, everyone needs a mortgage, right? And yeah, we can nitpick on ARMs and jumbos and the intricacies between the programs, but it was process that I was lacking. So I wanted to create a badass process that was efficient, that was going to let me do what I do best, and that's kiss baby, smack asses, and bring in the business. I make it rain for my team, and then it was just a matter of bringing on more people in order to handle that business. So this year we'll do over 100 million, and I got to tell you, I have a 6-month-old daughter. I have time to spend with her, my family, and things have just been snowballing from here.
That's awesome, dude. I mean, you just hit what a lot of the LOs are constantly hitting us up about. It's not necessarily how do I get to that higher level, but how do I do it without crushing myself and killing myself and trading my soul in and all those kind of things. I mean, we all know that we need to be better at hiring, training, building systems, operating procedures, all that kind of stuff. And you just went through that process and did it. Now, specifically on the marketing side, so you get this LO team in place, and all of a sudden you got a bunch of mouths to feed. How do you keep the deals coming in? What are you doing? I know you said smacking asses and kissing babies, but I think it's a little bit more than that. What are you specifically doing?
I can't just say that and let everyone implement that and figure it out from there?
Yeah, that's it. We're done. That was a good call.
All right, I'll see you guys.
Yep.
So what I meant from that was the biggest thing that I did, and this is now 6, maybe 7 years ago, I started implementing this process. If there's one thing you're going to take away from this video, I would just say, this is it. Go after large teams. And not even, I'm even going to rephrase that. Don't even, go after teams. I would say 3 or more agents. And the reason is I feel like you're going to put just as much effort into landing that one team than you would an individual agent. And then once you're in with the team, you're going to get that much more business because you have many more buyer's agents that are going to be throwing you deals. So the team was, that was one thing, but then how are you going to end up landing that team? What was the real secret? And I felt, again, process. So I packaged up everything I can think of to add value to that team. So I ended up, I would package up. I went ahead and looked at all my CRMs that were out there, and I test drove a lot of them. I know TJ helped me with a lot. Mike, you and I have spoken about a lot of them. And we were creating lead funnels. We were doing everything. But the bottom line is, realtors, if you're watching this, look, I get it. You know, you can argue with me all you want, but most realtors don't want to work any harder than they have to. Okay. And I just think that's human nature. So if you go to a realtor and or a team and you start confusing them with the technology and what you're doing and all these programs, it's just going to turn them off. So I wanted to make it super easy for my team to integrate it. My big thing is I talk about, you have my team and our process and our drips and everything that we have going on, and then you have your team and we align your drips and your process, and then we combine the two, and now we're working as one big unit. So now we can track our leads, our conversion ratios, our production month to month, quarter to quarter, and as a team, we can help grow each other's business. And at the end of this meeting, and I'll be happy to share any strategy I've used at any of these meetings with anyone watching right now, but at the end of the meeting, the biggest key point is I walk over to the team lead after everyone's dispersed, and I shake their hand, and I say, listen, you know, everything I talked about, it's a lot of manpower, money, and time that I'm willing to invest in you and your team and help you grow. I mean, this isn't just something to get a few deals. This is a career-long partnership that I'm looking to generate with you or to create with you. So if that's going to happen, I need you to reciprocate and be, if I'm 100% on board with you, you need to be 100% on board with me. That doesn't mean giving out 3 cards. That doesn't mean, you know, having lunch with a mortgage guy and then feeling bad and throwing them a deal. That means you are sending me 100% of your business, and in turn, I will invest 100% of my resources into your team. And then we shake on it, and I've had plenty of teams look at me and go, Matt, I can't make that promise, and we part ways. Like, I've held strong to that mindset of only 100%. It's a give and take, and because of that, I have pretty awesome relationships that we're now good friends with some of these teams that we're partnered with. One team leader married my wife and I 3 years ago, so he's an ordained minister. I mean, we really have ingrained ourselves, and I feel good moving forward in my career because now we have those partnerships.
Very nice.
You just landed a very big partnership as well locally. I mean, you're not done adding teams. I mean, you haven't sat back. You said let's keep pushing. And do you want to talk about that? Was that any different now than it would have been 2 years ago, or is it still pretty much the same process?
Yeah. So now I guess the difference is I kind of have things ironed out a little bit better. I have a reputation that you know people kind of know of, or you know some people know of within the business. So we had a KW team. 25-person team, mostly buyer's agents. They produce a ton of buyers every year. Their volume is sick, and it could be a little daunting for a new LO or someone trying to get in with the team. But for us, I mean, we're confident, extremely confident in what we do, and we have the numbers to back it up. So we sat down with them, and wouldn't you know, this big team, you know, beating their chest, saying how great they were. They didn't have any coherent systems in place for lead gen, for lead follow-up, for lead tracking. They really didn't know what was going on. They just were generating so many listings, and they're a property management company. They own that as well. So they just had so many people on their team thinking, look how great we're doing. They didn't realize that if they implemented certain systems, they could be generating that much more business from what they already have. They don't have to continue to grow and bring on more agents. They could just become a lot more efficient. So we had this meeting with them, showed them some of the things that we did. We blew their minds, and I had my conversation. I shook their hands. We're now their only lender moving forward. And now I haven't got any deals yet. I can keep you guys updated on that. But that was such a cool feeling to get in with such a huge team that so many other lenders have tried to get in with. And all you had to do was just listen and then implement a strategy that showed value to them and their team.
Yeah, that's awesome. And really, based at this time, as you said, you've done this enough. You know there's probably 3 or 4 key points with every team that you meet, right? Lead generation, lead conversion, follow-up, CRMs, tracking the numbers, whatever the case is. You probably at this point, you've got each system down that when you hear them bring that up, it's like a shark smelling blood in the water, right? You know exactly what to say, what to do, when to say it, how to present it, that these people want to get excited and get ready to jump on board.
Yeah, once they were started telling me like they have a Frankenstein of systems all together, and every agent's kind of doing their own thing, and no one really knows what they're doing. I couldn't wait to get in there and show them what we have going on. And I got to tell you, I mean, Leads Academy, they're TJ, Mike, what you guys do. The reason why I don't do these a lot. I mean, there's really no reason to, but I couldn't wait to get on and talk to you guys, because you guys are one of the only ones that I see in the entire industry focusing on what's important, and that's systems, that's technology, and that's staying ahead of all of that, and that's what's adding value to these agents. Now, I just watched a video from Gary Keller, and look, the majority of my agents are Keller Williams.
Yep.
And I just saw a video of Gary Keller, and he's going out, and he doesn't want us as mortgage originators and partners, referral partners of the agents, to be implementing the systems to them. He wants to control the systems, and because of that, he has Keller Mortgage coming out, and he's trying to dip his feet into that pond. We'll see how that goes for him. But for us, if we can implement and stay ahead of the curve technology-wise, and look, it's one thing to implement the systems. The other thing that I feel like we do very well is we coach and we optimize the systems after they're implemented. Because those agents, once they get on board and they're all excited and they start using the system, TJ knows, they'll get very discouraged very quickly if they're not seeing leads coming in, or maybe they're seeing leads coming in but they're not converting them. Right. So I learned the hard way, and I was using conversion with a K for a while with a lot of my teams, and I implemented everything. We were paying all this money, and they had tons of leads coming in. Nobody was converting, and I just thought it was like a plug-and-play thing. I could just keep my hands out of it, and a lot of them backed out. We canceled the program, canceled the subscription. I lost a few agents. So from there, I just became like their coach. And now I have the time to do that because I have a team of LOs outside my door here that are pre-approving, getting on the phone, banging out all the paperwork and my processing staff of things I used to have to do. And now all I do is implement and coach and bring in business.
Yeah, that's awesome. Look, the more money you're bringing into these agents, the more loyal they're going to be to you. Right there. So I think that's huge. Fish, I'm sorry, man. I cut you off.
Oh, no, that's okay. I think you and I talked about this a couple years ago, and you're one of the few LOs that took action on the concept of, well, I mean, I know I need to get my LP1 or my LP2, but you put a lot of emphasis on also having just a marketing person in your office that could learn these systems with you. I believe you and I talked about it. Like, you wanted to know how everything worked because you didn't want to be the boss that had no knowledge of what they were doing, but you also wanted to have a marketing partner that could focus more on, okay, let's actually figure out how the system works with the agents and how we can best get them up and running and we can best implement it at our mortgage branch level. Are you still doing something similar to that, or am I kind of going down the wrong path here?
No, you're right on. Actually, TJ, now I forget the package you put together, but you put together an awesome video tutorial on how to
the chatbots.
Yep. Yeah. So we have a marketing guy on our team. Younger guy, super smart, loves to eat up all this information. So I'll oversee things like your systems and Facebook marketing and everything. But I have him do all of the classes, and I pay for whatever education he wants to do to be ahead of the technology. Because then what happens is after we bring on a team, we figure out who on that team is the one posting the listings, who's the one monitoring the technology, and then we bring them in and have my tech guy, my marketing guy meet with theirs, and then he's constantly coaching them. We just had one in here yesterday talking about Facebook marketing and what pixels are and how to properly implement a Facebook ad and how to track things and tweak things and what kind of ad spend to do. And then we have on our end, kind of like Mike, you have My South Lion. I have I think I was I'm pretty sure I was one of the first to do the hot homes thing, but we've taken the hot homes concept, hot homes in Philadelphia, hot homes in South Jersey, hot homes wherever, and I can't tell you how many hundreds of ads we've launched off of these. So again, it's a partnership. We have the agents advertising and posting all over. We're advertising and posting all over, doing a certain ad spend, and then we're just bringing in so many leads into these CRMs that we've tweaked and optimized, and then we convert.
Who's working the leads? Are you having the agents work the leads? Or is your team working the leads? Automation, a combination of all three?
Yeah, so I mean, I know there's so many systems out there, and on the agent side, the CRM works the leads. We optimize that with them, whether it's conversion, Chime.
Whatever they're using, their team.
Whatever. Yep, FirePoint. I mean, there's so many of them that we've worked with. But then on our end, we have two systems that we work. We just happened when we partnered up with Garden State. They have a very robust Salesforce system. Mm-hmm. So they've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on their Salesforce, which you can customize however you want. But for everyone out there that doesn't want to spend that kind of money on Salesforce, the other system we use is Agent Legend. So, and again, there's so many systems like this where Agent Legend plug and plays into almost every other CRM out there, and all it does is it will email, text, and leave voicemails for any lead coming in. So it'll, in a slide dial sense, where you look on your cell phone and all of a sudden there's a voicemail. Just yesterday, we had someone came in through one of our agents. And I went through the progression of drips. We emailed him, texted him, emailed him, texted him, and then a voicemail went out. And then it was that voicemail, he returned our call and said, look, you guys have sent me a bunch of stuff. What do you have going on? And here he was getting ready to put an offer in. We were able to severely undercut the credit union he was going with. And now we picked up a buyer. And our agent is ecstatic because she was already working with him and he was going with that credit union, didn't want to talk to anyone else. We stole him away using this system. So that's what we're using.
Yeah, I would say with the sheer volume of leads that you're generating with all these partnerships that you have, you've got to have that automation in place. There's just no way to effectively work the leads without having that there.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've run 20,000 or whatever leads through Agent Legend so far. And again, I mean, these are not Zillow leads, although you can put Zillow leads and Realtor.com leads through the system. These are tire kickers, people that just want to see pretty pictures of houses on Facebook or somewhere, Instagram or wherever you're advertising. So you just have to understand, and these agents have to understand that you're not going to get a huge conversion. So it's a volume game. So if I told, this is my big pitch, I said, if I told you we're going to convert 2%, and even if it's 1% of all the leads that we're going to generate, guaranteed, we're going to convert 2% of people of all the leads coming out, what would your response be? Now, many of them just stare blankly at me. But the ones that get it go, well, we're going to generate as many effing leads as we possibly can. If I'm guaranteed to convert that percentage, let's get thousands and thousands of leads in.
Right.
So that's the mentality you got to instill. Because look, we know we're not converting 10, 20% of these leads. No. But you're going to convert 1 to 2%. Maybe more if you're working together as a team, but I always want to, undersell that. And then if it happens to be a better conversion, great. But that's been my big pitch. So let's work together to be consistent week to week, month to month, and then those leads will build up. And the CRMs that we're putting them on with, they'll continue to drip over the months and months and months moving forward, where maybe not right now or in 3 months these buyers are going to respond, but we've had 7-8 months later, these buyers have been getting all these drips and these properties being sent to them, and then they go, hey, you know what, I'm ready to get serious now. Thanks so much for all the emails.
Yep. Yep. No, absolutely. And the good thing is you've been doing this consistently for so long that you're having those people come in from 6, 8, 12, 18 months ago. And I think that's something that a lot of people miss, right? Is, you generate a bunch of $1 leads, and when they don't convert in the first $50 that you spend, we give up.
Right.
But if you're consistent with it, and you don't have to get 20,000 leads, you don't have to spend a ton of money. A couple $100 a month, if you partner up with a couple of, with a good agent team, that can be a lot of leads. If that's consistent, if you have it in your system, in your CRMs, in your follow-up, you'll pull stuff out of there. Like I said, 6 months, 8 months, 12 months down the line, folks that know you based upon your follow-up, even though you've never spoken to them.
Yeah, 100%. I think the agents you guys need to focus on are the good listing agents. So that's the only other tip I have written down here. The teams are great, but if you have a team of agents and they barely, I don't know why they would be a team. Usually a team consists of a badass agent that's been doing it a while, that has a ton of listings, and then they don't want to do buyers anymore, so then they start bringing on buyers agents. This is the Keller Williams model, which is probably why most of my teams ended up going to Keller Williams. But Compass and EXP, they're all out now. But you want to get with that listing agent who has all these pretty listings, these hot homes, or whatever you want to call them, and that's the clickbait in order to start generating all those leads. And however system, it doesn't matter what system you're using, as long as you're implementing it correctly and you're staying consistent with it and you're keeping your agent accountable so that they're staying consistent with it. Because if you're busting your ass following up on your end and the listing agent is posting maybe every other week and generating 50 leads a month, you're not going to get the conversion. They're going to think you're full of shit, that your system doesn't work, and then they move on to another lender thinking they have something better.
Right. Yeah, I think that's something you've been consistent with in your conversations with us, is that, my thing's always, I ask it almost every call. If I picked you up, if I drove up to South Jersey, picked you up, drove you down here to Bel Air, Maryland, and told you to get started, what would you do? It's always, I'd find a team with the listing agent, with a couple buyers agents, and I'd go to them and tell them I'm going to promote his properties, his listings, and get leads for his agents to work.
That actually sounds like a challenge, TJ.
No, dude, man, come on. There's enough of a challenge around here as it is. I don't need you coming in. Dude, if you move down
challenge
here, I'll just call
accepted.
Tim Pasquarella. I'll turn the license in. I said, look, I'm going to Leeds Academy full time. Boyce is coming in and taking over the market. So
I'm just going to be Boyce's assistant. Hopefully,
I'm just going to I want to take the place of his marketing guy and just join the team. So.
Listen, I'm still learning from you. I went out, TJ posted something the other day, and I went out and bought an iPad to be a teleprompter and help with video. I actually have a video production studio outside my office. Again, just another value add for our agent teams. We help them do videos, which, by the way, we implement into their CRMs.
Yep.
So within their drips, instead of a text, instead of an email, now we have video going out, which is for new leads, for milestones, talking about, hey, congratulations, you're under contract. Here are your next steps. And we have a video editor that will then post, or you could do it yourself. You can post those steps as they're talking, because nobody wants to look at people talking on video like we're doing right now. Who wants to look at our faces? So but if while we're talking, you have step one, you're under contract. Step two, appraisal, talk to your lender about an appraisal, and then you have your inspections, whatever. That's a value of, for their buyers. And so we've been helping all along. Again, it's just knowing your process, and you have all your points along the process. And as you tweak, you're going to figure out what parts can be more efficient and what parts you can add to and build up, like the videos, for example.
But the other thing that I'm picking up here is you're getting so ingrained in their systems and their process, they're now dependent upon you and your team, right?
Yeah,
they want to
that's
keep
kind
you
of the whole
happy.
point.
Right.
Yep.
They want to keep you happy because you're making sure that all their stuff is working, is working great and it's updated. They can't just be like, man, phew, they got us set up. Now we're going to go over to these guys because they're still dependent upon you every step of the way as you bring more in there, more ideas, more technology, more process improvements. It's like you give them a little bit for free, right? And then you get them hooked on you. That's awesome, man.
That's it. And by the way, this is going to be our big push lately. So Zillow, if you're not aware, Zillow just completely revamped the way they're doing their lead distribution. Zillow's, all the talk of them getting into real estate and trying to take the market share or a certain market share from all the agents that are feeding them. because, they're just trying to stay profitable and whatever. So I got so many phone calls from my agents that we're doing a Zillow spend with, because yes, even though I can show these agents all day long how to implement, lead gen and follow up, they're still addicted to their original systems that they were using. So my agents are going, yeah, I have agents spending $10,000 a month on Zillow. And they're going, well, the ROI is there, so F it. Why don't I do it? And I'm like, why? Because you're building Zillow up. You're not building your database up, and you're not, all those people coming in them, it's like almost a one and done thing where they're not, yes, you can drip them and maybe they'll buy again or whatever, but you need to implement your own system. So over the last month, like this is all brand new, I've had so many phone calls of, Matt, this other system that we set up that's doing well, how do we beef that up? How do we put more money to Facebook advertising? So if anyone's watching right now and you have teams out there that are doing this big Zillow spend, research what's going on with Zillow. It's a big deal. People are getting super scared about it. And you can show them, look, stay ahead of the curve. Stay ahead of it by implementing your own systems now. And then now, again, you're adding value.
Yeah, that's huge. I've probably had 5 or 6 calls with real estate agents over the past 2 weeks of, from across the country that have discussed the Zillow revamp of what their leads are. And essentially the cost is going up, the amount of leads are going down. So the same thing, they're freaking out about this. So I think as lenders, if you are proficient with lead generation, it's a perfect time to jump in there and kind of solve their pain.
Yeah, 100%, man. Yeah, so that's been our big push. Sorry, Fish, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, it's interesting that you brought that up yesterday. I had an agent coming up to me rolling up for some Zillow ad spend, and at the end of the conversation, I kind of brought it to the point, well, hey, if you are spending X amount of dollars, what if you just allocated X towards ad spend and X towards a marketing assistant? And, we help train that assistant, so now you can be more of a rainmaker on the street, making the phone calls, doing the traditional kind of selling that you're used to, because you used to be a used car sales manager, new car sales manager. And we'll basically have a person running all your advertising for you, and I'll help you train them and get them up to speed. But, it's going to take from you understanding that you're probably going to have to let go of that $5,000 Zillow spend to afford to do that. I can partner with you a little bit on it, but this would be a massive change for you. And he hesitated a little bit, and then I pointed to another agent that he knew that did that. And I said, hey, take a look at this guy. Been in the business the same amount of time. Let's go look up his numbers. Oh, he closed 60 deals, and you closed 41. So I'm just, sometimes you gotta understand who you're working with. You got to know exactly where they're at. And like you said, Matt, you got to understand their pain points. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man, it's worked out great. Even if they want you to do a Zillow ad spend, I mean, if that's what's going to get you in the door to then open their eyes, we've done that as well. We've converted plenty of Zillow leads on our own because Zillow goes into our systems. The difference, though, instead of just an agent legend, just drip, 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 we have an LO dedicated to those systems. So if anyone responds back to a drip, whether it's a phone call, text, email, he's immediately jumping on it, taking an app over the phone, getting them pre-approved, and then we do everything we can to flip them back over to the agent where we got that lead. Because an agent legend in all these systems, you can categorize what source it's coming from. You can label it as fish Zillow, fishrealtor.com, TJ's this, that, so you know where it came from. But anyway, we've then converted those people out of Zillow, and now we're doing our own system. So TJ, that's why I think you're doing just. I love what you're doing, man. I mean, I'm not trying to plug you or anything, but it's
plug away, brother. It's okay.
You're one of the only ones, again, I see like really focusing on this, and so I know it's a daunting. It's a big, when you look at it from a 10,000 foot perspective, it's complicated, it's confusing. There's so many systems out there. My only advice is you pick a path. You pick the systems, you learn them, because there's no wrong answer. If you do it right, and I know you'll guide people through. And if you need my advice, I've made plenty of mistakes and spent thousands of dollars on systems that totally sucked, and I've learned the wrong way or the hard way. So I'll tell you what mistakes I've made, what systems I'm using right now. I can hook you up with people at companies that we're using, and they can get you on board. So whatever you guys need, just let me know. I love helping with this subject.
Cool. All right, man. We appreciate it. Well, it's been we've gone over our 30 minutes here. One last thing that I picked up on, just as you were talking there, we talk about systems, we talk about automation. A lot of times we forget about the human element. You just mentioned it right there. As soon as someone starts interacting, you've got LOs that are dedicated to going ahead and interacting with these folks and not just trying to take the robot from start to finish to, from lead to closing. You still have to have that human element. We still have to be salespeople when these people respond back to us. I think it's a huge piece that a lot of us miss. A lot of us would like to have it where it is just push a button and get a pre-qualification, coming out.
Sure.
But it doesn't work
it just
like
opens the door. It just opens the door. Then you actually have to sell. You have to be good at your job to get them on board.
Cool stuff, salesman. All right, Fish. Anything to add before you close us out here, buddy?
No, man. I thank you, Matt. You pretty much crushed this. I knew you would.
As always.
And if
he had a process for this video before he came on, so he had a process to get himself prepared before he hopped on here.
That's right. I'm actually not wearing pants. That's part of my process.
Guess what? Everybody watching now is going to walk around their office without pants on. They're like, okay,
that's right.
Like Boyce, no pants. All right, cool. All right, Fish, wrap it up, man. Get us out of here.
All right, man. Thank you, guys. We appreciate you. Thank you again for participating in the MLO Net contest and all the posts and suggestions. Thanks for your time, Matt. People can comment below, maybe hit you up with a message, stop by your office. We'll try to bring you back on in a few months and keep rocking, brother. If you need something, we're here for you.
You got it. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, man. See ya.
Thanks, man.